Yo, what's up everybody, Aiden here. In this video, I'm going to show you how I made $800 trading stocks. Traded two tickers. I traded QH? Yeah, just QH and TNON. Really pleased with the $800, especially because I'm trading with a small account. But equally, I'm pleased because I've seen an improvement in my trading psychology. So this week, there were a couple of explosive moves going on. We had QH moving 800%. We had TNON squeezing like 3,000%. But from a personal perspective, I'm pleased because I was able to look at the charts, analyze the charts, and recognize that these aren't setups that I know how to trade. And so I was able to bide my patience, wait for something I recognize to occur, and execute my plan pretty well. Also, in addition to that, last week I was coming off the back of, I think, one of my best weeks in a couple of years. And normally in the past, when that happens, the following week I overtrade, I'm overconfident, and I give back a portion of what I've made the previous week. However, on this occasion, again, I was able to take a step back, look at the charts. Is it something I recognize? No. Take a step back and just chill. So yeah, pretty pleased with my performance this week. Let's have a look at the charts. Alright, cool. So the first one I want to show you is QH. I believe my teacher Roland Wolf also traded this, but I had his morning webinar on mute, so I'm not sure how exactly he traded it, but I want to re-watch that and see how he traded it and how I can improve. But sometimes when I trade in the morning, I will mute any sort of distraction so I can just get completely focused on what it is that I'm doing. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. So this is QH from the daily. We can see it had a massive explosive day one. After hours day one, it had a squeeze up to the mid threes, I think. And it was kind of like the leader of the sector. So there were some sympathy plays from this. Chinese stocks, I think CNEY was one of them. So I missed this whole front side of the move, which is cool. I'm okay with that. If I do miss the front side of the move, I'm going to look for a first green day bounce. If there are some people watching who don't know what a first green day bounce is, I will do a separate video on that. So if we jump to the intraday, the minute chart, we can see the day one move, huge explosive move, broke $1, tested it a few times, eventually broke it, and then the squeeze was just on. And then the next day kind of just gives back, retraces its move as it does on day three. So what I'm looking for is an area that the stock can bounce from and possibly have its first green day. The area that I identified was $1. The reason for that is it did try to break $1 here, so it's potentially got support because it was resistance, and also it's just that $1 round psychological number that often the price can react to. My sort of concern pre-market was that I'm looking for a first green day, and this is like 20% down on the day, so it wasn't setting up exactly how I would like it. Ideally, this would have dropped to 1 on this day and then just sort of consolidated here after hours yesterday and pre-market today, and then bounce from that so it could turn green on the day. But it didn't do that, so it's kind of like an adaptation of that. I decided that I would still take the trade, that the risk reward was good, and there was a slight bit of FOMO because I did think this could make an explosive move given that this was the sector leader at one point. The perfect entry for me was down here at 1, but I began to doubt myself around here and thinking, well, if it drops, I'm going to have to risk off 90, and then maybe I should wait another day, and then hopefully it can open green rather than 20% down. So I had a bit of self-doubt here, but when it started to perk, I did chase it a bit. I got in at 105, and then I added again at 107, and then I wanted to wait until the market opened to see what it did. But I did have a plan. My plan when the market opened was I was going to risk off this level here, 98, but I wanted it to have a pull towards 1 so I could load up. When it pulled towards 1, I did get a bit scared that it was going to have a big flush, and so I didn't sort of get the full size. And then when it began to perk, I added again at like 114, which is a really bad entry. That's how quickly your emotions can change. Scared, chasing. You know, in the course of like 1 minute 30 seconds. So that's not ideal. But I did have enough time at that point to realise, you know, the 114 is a bad ad, and I just cut it at like 112. And I wanted to see what it did. When it had this pullback here, I re-added at 108, and I think overall my average was at that point sort of 108ish. When it's sort of made this move, I kind of knew, okay, it's on here. How much patience have I got? I began to take a piece off, I think 120, I think was my first piece, but I really wanted to be patient with this one. I really felt like it could make a move to the 150s, 60s, or even up to the 2s, because like I say, this was the industry, this was the sector leader. I thought this could have had a bigger bounce than it actually did. However, when it was making this move, it was kind of heavy, like on level 2. It was kind of heavy. It wasn't exploding like I would have hoped it too. So I began to sell pieces all along the way. My best sell was 136. I think I left, about a third of my position on. And when it dropped here, I actually cut the last third, which I don't like. I think it's good that I sold along the way. I'm improving my patience, but at the same time, I do have to adapt, and I could tell it was a little bit heavy on level 2. But this last third, I should be keeping this on. I've sold along the way in order to buy myself patience with the last piece in case it does a big move. But I didn't. I cut it here at like 125, and then when I saw it to bounce, I began sort of criticising myself, really. When it failed, obviously I felt great about myself, but that doesn't mean it was the right thing to do. Still, the lesson here to learn for me is to give myself more time with the last piece, and I have been working on that for a little while. But still, nice trade. I'm really surprised, like just how much this failed. It is a Chinese stock, which tend to do more funky things. They can be a bit weaker, but still, I thought this would have had more juice in the tank, to be honest. But still, I made $660 off this, so I'm pleased because, like I say, I am trading with a small account. The next one is TNON. This is nuts. So yesterday it has this day one move. You can see in the past it has, after splits, it has put in runs, so it's not surprising that it did make a move yesterday after it split. So you can see that here for anybody who wants to see. It split on this day, and then, you know, a couple of days later it's making moves from 6. That's like a good 500% move or something like that, 400-500%. So again, split 1, 2, 3, 4 days ago, and on the 5th day it's making a move. So it has this day one where it has a morning spike, and then it just fails the rest of the day. Kind of was completely off my radar. Just thought it was not even a one and done, really. But then this morning, I don't know what happened. So this is their day one move, big pre-market move, has the morning spike out of the gate, and then just fails. So yeah, like I say, I thought it was just over. It was completely off my radar, and I think that's probably the same with most traders, unless they were short. We shouldn't really laugh about, really, because this is a dangerous move. So then it squeezes 3,000% pre-market. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people got roasted there, which isn't funny, but it's in some way it's entertaining to watch these explosive moves. It is quite exciting on that level. There's nothing for me to do here, just watch it and admire. But then this morning I want to see sort of how it reacts and what it does, because I know it's capable of doing a big move. I just want to see what is there for me. I wanted to see really if it could hold yesterday's high of 562. 562 is, you can see, it's kind of hot. It's trying to hold it there. Yeah, it's kind of using that level-ish. 62. I kind of didn't get involved with any of this because I was in QH, but what I became interested in is when it broke this low, but only just, then kind of I'm watching it to see if it can come back and hold this low. And if it can, then can it push? It's a gap and crack reversal style, really, just a day two. And that's what it did. So it had a push. I did get a little bit chopped up here, actually. Somewhere I got a little bit chopped up because I was getting a bit, will it hold 10? Will it use 10? And so I took a couple of trades and just cut them straight away. So, but then at this point, broke lower day. I'm watching to see if it can reclaim this low, which it did. And I got in at 980, which was a bit early. My risk was 936. So it was far away from my risk. I got in, I think, on this candle here, and that was too early, really. It was just a little bit of FOMO and a bit of overconfident trading for my QH trade. So when it dropped, I did get a bit scared that my risk was going to break, but it held perfectly, so I could have saved myself like 4% there. And then I kind of had conservative price target of 11.50, so I just sold along the way. And I think my best sell was like 11 sort of 25, 11.30. I think I sold best at. Excuse me. Been a bit ill for a couple of weeks. So yeah, 11.30 I think was my best sell, and I locked in like $120 off that. And yeah, like I say, finishing the day, I think $780 now in profit, so really pleased, and my small account is continuing to grow nicely. Again, what I want to do for next week is just keep my emotions in check and do my best to make sure I'm coming into next week neutral and looking at the information in front of me rather than just thinking that I want to continue making money. I have no more buying power in my account today. All my cash is at the clearing firm, so I can't do any more trading today, which is great. It just means I have no choice but to keep the money that I've made. But yeah, alright guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.